Good morning, boys and girls. How you doing? Speedy coming back at you again. Today we're in the beautiful city of Ventura, California at Easy CDL Truck Driving School, and I think this might be my final day here for official training, and I should be hitting the DMV, the scheduled DMV appointment for next week to take my official test for my CDL. So yeah, man, I'm gonna give you guys a little I want to say maybe not necessarily a tour of this truck, but give you guys a couple of shots of what I'm going to be doing: the pre-trip inspection, the in-cab inspection, and the brake tests, and maybe some of the backing stuff that you guys saw on my previous videos. So anyway, this is it. This is Easy CDL Driving School, and see you guys in a minute. All right, this will be my pre-trip inspection in this truck. First off, we got the ID and marker lights up on top, called lenses. Properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose or missing nuts or bolts. Clean, proper color, amber. We have our headlight lenses, properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose or missing nuts or bolts. Clean and clear. Headlight and high beams are clear in color. Turn signals and hazards are amber in color. Then we open up the hood here on this side and on this side, and we lift here, put our foot here, and pull up the hood there, and we do a test. Then we go to our critical fluids. Our coolant level is probably our coolant level is within full nano mark. My power steering fluid here is within full nano mark. My engine oil level is within full nano mark. I checked it by pulling out the dipstick, cleaning it, reinserting it, bringing it back out, verifying that it is within proper level, within full nano mark, and reinserting it, adding fluid if necessary. There's no dripping of fluid around my engine or my transmission, and there is no fluid dripping or puddles on the ground. My power steering pump is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts, not leaking. My hoses are properly mounted, no abrasions, no bulges, no cuts, and couplings are secure, not leaking. My leaf spring hangers, front and back, are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. And my leaf springs are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No scissoring. And my truck is sitting level. My shock absorber is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts, and not leaking. My steering link arms, rods, and links are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Castle nuts are present, secured with the cotter pin. Bushings are not worn or loose and are properly greased. My brake lines are properly mounted. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and not leaking. Couplings are secure, not leaking. There's no contamination on my brake lining from oil grease. There's no contamination from oil grease on my brake lining, drums, or discs. My tire is properly mounted. No abrasions, no bulges, no cuts, no damage to the tread or to the sidewall. Tread depth is at least 4/32 deep, measured with a tire depth gauge, and my tire pressure is at 105 psi, measured with an air pressure gauge. And the tire is worn evenly. My wheel is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. No illegal holes, no illegal welds. No rust. My lug nuts are all present. No loose or missing lug nuts. No signs of looseness such as rust or shiny threads. So let me close this up again. And then we're going to go with the lenses here on the side. Properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. clean and in proper color. My devices, I think there's going to be a camera option here. Camera is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Clean and properly working. My mirror brackets, properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose and missing nuts or bolts. My mirrors here and here are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Clean, clear, with no illegal stickers, and adjusted to me from the inside. My gas tank, my fuel tank, is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Cap is present and tight and not leaking from the tank or the lines. My def tank is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts, and cap is present and tight and not leaking from the lines or the tank. My battery box and cover is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Connections are tight, caps are present, fluid level is at proper level, and there is no corrosion. My cross member and frame, my truck is properly mounted. Cross member is properly mounted to my frame, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. No legal holes, no legal welds. The cross member and frame on my trailer are all properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. No illegal holes and no illegal welds. My brake, turn signal, hazard, and reverse lights are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. At proper color, red and white, and reflectors are present. My three-line connector on my trailer, my three-line connector on my tractor is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. My electrical line is connected, secured with the safety cap. My three lines, my service brake, my emergency, and my electrical lines are properly mounted. No abrasions, no bulges, no cuts. No tangles with enough slack for turns, and no frays on my electrical line. Couplings are secure and not leaking. My glad hands are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts, and my seals are not leaking. Proper amount of clearance between my cab, the back of my cab, and the front of my trailer, with enough clearance for turns. And I also have enough clearance for turns behind the back of my frame to my landing gear. Enough clearance for turns. What's up, baby? How you doing? All bien? Doing my pre-trip. My landing gear is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts, in the fully raised position and properly greased. My landing gear brackets are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. My crank handle is properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts, in the secure position and properly greased. Proper amount of DOT tape on the sides of my trailer and the back. Clean, clear, with no tears. My lenses here, my clearance light lenses for the trailer, are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Clean, clear, and a proper color. Amber in front, red in the back. Lights in the back of my truck are properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Clean, clear, and proper color, red and amber. My marker lights in the back properly mounted, not bent, broken, or cracked. No loose, missing nuts or bolts. Clean, clear, red in color, and my reflectors are present. And that concludes my pre-trip exterior inspection.